Formula One is in the middle of a huge new controversy, and it is all about the Mercedes engine. After the Chinese Grand Prix, everyone is talking about a clever trick that Mercedes might be using to get a big advantage. The sports bosses, the FIA, are now investigating, and it looks like a big fight is about to happen. This is a story about a smart idea, angry rivals, and a big decision that could change the entire 2026 season. So, what is this big secret? It is all about something called the compression ratio. Think of an engine like a bicycle pump. When you push the handle down, you squeeze the air inside. The compression ratio is a measure of how much you squeeze that air. In Formula One, a higher compression ratio means more power. The rules for 2026 say that the compression ratio can be no more than 16:1. This means the air and fuel mixture is squeezed to 16 times smaller than its original size. The FIA checks this to make sure everyone is following the rules, but here is the clever part. The FIA only checks the engine when it is cold. Mercedes seems to have found a way to make their engine change when it gets hot. When the engine is cold, it has a 16:1 compression ratio, so it passes the test. But when the engine heats up during a race, the parts inside expand, and the compression ratio goes up to 18:1. This is the same as the old rules, and it gives Mercedes a lot more power. Some people say it could be as much as 30 or 40 horsepower. That is a huge advantage in a sport where every little bit of power matters. How do they do it? It is all about using different types of metal for different parts of the engine. Some metals expand more than others when they get hot. Mercedes seems to be using special metal for the connecting rods, the parts that connect the piston to the crankshaft. These rods expand a lot when they get hot. At the same time, the engine block, which is the main body of the engine, is made from a different metal that does not expand as much. So when the engine is running and everything is hot, the connecting rods get longer, which makes the space at the top of the cylinder smaller. A smaller space means the air and fuel are squeezed more, and that means a higher compression ratio and more power. There might be another part to this trick. Some people think that Mercedes has also added a tiny extra pocket to the top of the cylinder. This pocket is connected by a very small channel. When the engine is cold and being tested, this pocket is open, which makes the space bigger and the compression ratio lower. But when the engine is running, the fast movement of the piston closes off this channel. This makes the main space smaller, which again increases the compression ratio. It is a very smart and complicated idea, and it shows how clever the engineers at Mercedes are. After the Chinese Grand Prix, Lewis Hamilton, who now drives for Ferrari, was one of the first to talk about this. He finished third in the race, but he could not keep up with the two Mercedes cars in front of him. He said that the biggest difference between his Ferrari and the Mercedes cars was the power on the long straights. When they overtake us, they seem to fly, and we can't defend ourselves, he said. Made it clear that he thinks Mercedes has a big engine advantage, and he is not happy about it. This has made the other teams very angry, especially the teams that use Mercedes engines, like McLaren and Williams. They are supposed to get the same engines as the main Mercedes team, but they are not getting the same performance. Lando Norris, who drives for McLaren, has said that his team is missing a lot of power compared to the works Mercedes team. This has created a lot of tension and has made the other teams feel like they are being cheated. They are paying a lot of money for an engine, but they are not getting the same benefits as the team that makes it. The FIA has now stepped in. They have announced that they are going to change the way they test the engines. From the Monaco Grand Prix in June, they will start testing the engines when they are hot, at a temperature of 130 degrees Celsius. This will close the loophole that Mercedes has been using, but this new rule will not start until the 8th race of the season. This means that Mercedes will have a big advantage for the first 7 races. Many people think this is not fair, and that the FIA should have acted much faster. This whole situation is a big mess. It is a story of a clever trick, angry rivals, and a sport that is struggling to keep things fair. The next few races will be very important. Mercedes will try to win as many races as they can before the new rule comes in. The other teams will be pushing the FIA to do more, and they will be working hard to catch up. It is a big fight, both on and off the track, and it is a fight that could decide who wins the 2026 Formula One World Championship. The anger from the other teams is easy to understand. They feel like they are in a fight with one hand tied behind their backs. For teams like Ferrari and Red Bull who build their own engines, the situation is frustrating. They have spent hundreds of millions of dollars developing their own power units, only to find that Mercedes has found a clever way to get around the rules. They are now in a race against time to figure out how Mercedes is doing it and to see if they can copy it, but this is not easy. It takes a lot of time and money to change an engine design, and there's no guarantee that they will be able to catch up. For the customer teams, the situation is even worse. They are paying a lot of money to use Mercedes engines, but they are not getting the same performance as the main Mercedes team. This makes them feel like second-class citizens. They are in a difficult position. They cannot complain too loudly because they do not want to upset their engine supplier. But they also cannot stay silent because they are falling further and further behind. The comments from Lando Norris and other team bosses show that there is a lot of anger and frustration bubbling just below the surface. This controversy has also put the FIA, the governing body of Formula One, in a very difficult position. They are the referees of the sport, and it is their job to make sure that everyone is playing by the rules. But in this case, it seems that they have been caught sleeping. The loophole in the regulations was a big one, and it is a loophole that a team with Mercedes' resources was always likely to find. The FIA has now admitted that their original rules were not good enough, and they are taking steps to fix the problem. But for many, their actions are too little, too late. The decision to wait until June to introduce the new test has been heavily criticized. It is seen by many as a sign that the FIA is not willing to take on the might of Mercedes. This is a story that has all the classic ingredients of a great Formula One drama. It has a clever team that is pushing the boundaries of the rules, a group of angry rivals who are determined to bring them down, and a governing body that is struggling to keep control. It is a story that is about more than just engineering. It is about politics, power, and money. The next few weeks will be a critical period. The on-track battles will be intense as Mercedes tries to make the most of its advantage. But the off-track battles will be just as important as the teams and the FIA fight over the future of the sport. The decisions that are made in the coming weeks will have a huge impact on the 2026 season, and they could also shape the future of Formula One for years to come. The world is watching, and the pressure is on everyone involved to find a solution that is fair and that allows the drivers to once again be the stars of the show. So what happens next? The FIA has made its decision, and the new hot test will be introduced in June. This will level the playing field, but it will not erase the advantage that Mercedes has already built up. The first 7 races of the season will be a crucial period. If Mercedes can dominate these races, they may be able to build up a lead that is too big for anyone to catch. But if their rivals can stay close, if they can pick up wins and podiums, then the championship could still be wide open. The pressure is on everyone. It is on Mercedes to make the most of their advantage. It is on the other teams to find a way to fight back. And it is on the FIA to manage a difficult and controversial situation. This is a story that is far from over, and it is a story that will keep us all on the edge of our seats for the rest of the season.